Hey YouTube, it's Alicia here. I'm back with another review of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 9, Episode 9. So this week we open up with Kenya, and we see Kenya with her two dogs, Twirl and King. She's meeting Cynthia and Cynthia's dog Bailey at a dog grooming place. And it's a place where you can wash your puppies and that kind of thing. So while they're there, Kenya decides to fill Cynthia in on what's going on with Matt. Can you tell Cynthia that Matt met her dad and that her dad suggested that they take some time apart and both get therapy? So Kenya asks Cynthia what's going on with Peter, and she says she received a phone call from him. So then we flip the scene and we see Peter. He's at a car dealership. He's decided he needs to upgrade his look. Now that he's single, he's out there trying to upgrade. So Todd joins him at the dealership and he starts telling him he can't do that. Now that he's single, he needs to maintain where he was before. But, while Peter's trying to rebrand himself, he's trying to save some face and keep his image up. Peter's not fixing to buy no new car, y'all. So anyway, Peter tells Todd that he wants him to come to his grand opening. He's getting ready to have a grand opening for his new club called Club One in Charlotte. So Todd says, yes, I'm there. And Peter tells Todd that he invited Kenya to come and host. Okay. Then we go back to Kenya and Cynthia. And so Kenya's telling Cynthia, yes, Peter called me because he wants me to host this event. And Cynthia's shocked because she didn't even know. She wasn't invited. Peter didn't tell her. He didn't even say, hey, I'm inviting your girl Kenya to come host. Just no communication. And this hurts Cynthia's feelings because it's very important to her they maintain a friendship. So Kenya has the bright idea to invite Cynthia along as her plus one. And she says she won't take no for an answer. So I was thinking, okay, so you know that these people are going through divorce. It might be awkward for Cynthia. And if she doesn't want to go, if you're a really good friend, you would say, well, I won't go either, girl. I won't go either. You and I'll do something else. But, there's probably some coin involved. So Kenya's now going to lose this booking. So Cynthia tells us that she's upset because she didn't know and she feels like Peter's pushing her away. Well, Peter is immature. As I've said in a previous review, Cynthia might want this wonderful relationship like she has with Leon, but it depends on the person. Peter is not mature. He is not going to be able to handle being friends at all. So next we move on to Kandi. And Kandi is talking to Todd about having this upcoming bedroom candy event. It's a convention this weekend. And she said that business is making money, it's successful, and it's a great offset to the restaurant that is sucking them dry. So while they're talking, Todd pulls up this Instagram picture on his phone, and it's Kandi's ex-assistant Johnny talking about how he had to separate himself from fake people, and Todd and Kandi are in the photo. So Kandi starts feeling some kind of way because Johnny's worked for her for a long time, and she had to let him go earlier in the year because he was messing up. But she's maintained a good relationship with him professionally, and she continues to use him for, the work. So she's kind of upset that he would put out a post like this that's so hurtful. So then Kandi starts talking about how, she hopes this guy's not going to act up because she's really on a roll right now or this week, just putting people in their place. Why do I keep snapping, y'all? Why? Anyway. So Kandi tells Todd how she had to sit down with Portia and Sheree and how she thought they were just getting together, but it turns out they wanted to air some grievances. And Kandi says, yet again, I didn't know I had issues with people, and they're here to try to put me in check. But Kandi wasn't the one. So Kandi tells Todd about how Portia's upset that Kandi was talking about Phaedra, and Todd had me cracking up. He was shocked. He said, well, Portia's popped blank for less, right? She's beat up a girl for less. We keep this PG. I don't know who's watching this video. And so speaking of Portia, we show up at her house. Her house is pretty much done being packed up. She's got one room left. She's in the kitchen. And her brother shows up with some boxes. Portia says that it's the end of an era, y'all. She's moving on. She's taking down her pictures. She says she feels like this is the end of the old Portia as she moves into the new Portia because buying this house was what kept her motivated to really, work hard and make her own way in this world. So good for Portia. She is going to be moving in with her mom again while she figures out where she's going to be living next. Okay, guys? So then we move on to Sheree. Sheree's been keeping a little secret from us, y'all. Sheree's been writing a book for 2 years, and it's a tell-all, a juicy tell-all, because Sheree says she has all the tea. Okay, so Sheree's writing a book, right? And it's called Wives, Fiancés, and Side Chicks of Hotlanta. So I had to go online and just see, is this a real book? Is it out there, y'all? I went right online and it was like popped right up in my search. So it must have been the most searched thing last night during Atlanta's show. So sure enough, her book is out. It's on Amazon.com. It was $15. It's been marked down to $8.82. So I don't know. Let's see if there's any. I take it back, y'all. It's not out. It says this title will be released on January 31st, 2017. So you have to wait just a few more weeks, y'all, and y'all gonna have this in your hot little hands. Are y'all gonna get this book? Sheree needs help paying for that house, that Chateau Thelma. But you didn't hear that from me. So, of course, the book is going to be shady. It has characters probably loosely based on people she knows. She already told us there's a character in the book named Paris that's clearly based on Nene because it's an ex-stripper. And then, of course, Sheree is the heroine of the book. The publisher seemed to think it was super juicy, so I don't know. I'm curious to think what Nene thinks about it if she reads the book. She probably won't even read the book, y'all. But I'd be very interested in knowing her opinion of her character named Paris. Well, okay, now it's time for the showdown of showdowns. See, Kandi is on a roll this season. She's on a roll. She's not letting anything slide at all. She shows up to her convention for Bedroom Kandi, and she's talking to her crew, and Johnny shows up. She says, see, I even hired Johnny for this event. She has no hard feelings towards Johnny. So she pulls him to the side, and she's, real cool right at first, saying, hey, and she pulls up the Instagram picture, and she asks him about it. So Johnny says, well, what had happened was, when you let me go in February, I felt some kind of way. And so Kandi said, look, this was business. Johnny felt like she should have had a conversation with him, or they all should have had a conversation about it. And so Kandi pretty much just lays it out there straight and says, this was business, and therefore that's something Don Juan handles, not me. And basically, he already knew that he was putting his side business in front of her business, and that wasn't going to fly. So it got ugly. He starts to try to overtalk her and talk about how she didn't pay him well. And she said, well, you accepted the pay and you didn't have any complaints before. And she continues to use him. But long story short, this is the last fake check that he's going to receive from her. And she said, goodbye. Yeah, Kandi got hyped. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, Kandi, this is a new Kandi. Kandi told that man, you will not get, she told us, he will not get another check from her. And good for her. I mean, he's so ungrateful. I mean, I don't know what Kandi pays, but the exposure alone, the opportunity to meet other people, to grow your business is priceless. So I doubt Kandi is a slave driver that doesn't pay anything, but he acted like, he even asked her, well, did you pay me what my services were worth? And I'm thinking, how old are you? How long have you even been on the industry? You look like you're like fresh, like wet behind the ears, as they say. Like, I don't think he's this experienced wedding planner. I mean, it just very bizarre, right? This event planner that he says he is, but he was really coming at her really wrong, and she was not having it. Not having it. All right, y'all. Up next is Portia. She's still seeing Todd, right? And the scene opens up, and she's on the phone, and she's whispering into the phone to somebody. And then it's Todd, and she says, okay, I'm going to come to the door and let you in. And I'm thinking, what? Did she bring this man to her mama's house? Like, what is going on? Like, the disrespect. I just could not believe it. I hope she did this just for a scene. But that is outrageous. But she said it was, she tells Todd, she brings him in the house, and she's telling him to be all quiet and everything, and they go into her room. And so, I mean, she's whispering the whole time, right? So then he's just like, oh, you're not wearing your sweatpants today? Like, all loud. I'm like, what is the problem? So she's like, shh, be quiet, be quiet. So he's like, oh, my bad. I'm just like, what? This is foolishness. Absolute foolishness. So she's just like, look, I'm feeling more comfortable. I'm ready to take this to the next step and everything. And of course, he's with it, right? So she starts lighting some sage to set the mood or whatever. And he's getting a little freaked out. Like, that's fire. That's fire. It was kind of weird. So they're playing around on the bed and everything. She falls off the bed. It's just complete madness. And she says, I should have just gone to a hotel. I'm like, yeah, you should have. You can't be doing this in your mama's house. Like, what's going on? Disrespectful. Okay. So now we have a scene with Sheree. And she is at this new gym. And there's this new workout called the parkour. Parkour. and it's supposed to be like extreme and very different. And it is. It's super, super physical. And so Sheree's thinking this will be a good new workout. Well, she's invited Bob. So we see Bob show up. He's in this car, y'all. He is stuffed into this car. It's like a clown car. Like, how did he even get in there? So he comes in, and she's all telling him, hey, we're going to work out. And so he says, yeah, I don't know about this working out. So he's not really feeling this whole crazy new way to work out. So Sheree says, well, you said you wanted to lose weight. How did you expect to lose weight? And he said, well, I was looking into pills and some kind of energy drinks. I was like, all right, Bob, you're going to need more than that. So it's a cute scene of them working out, mostly Sheree. Then we do see Bob try to make it an effort, and it looks like it's a hard workout. So he gave it a try. So then Sheree gets a call from her publisher, and the publisher's calling to check in on Sheree to see if she's read through those notes on her book. And so, of course, Sheree has not, because does Sheree finish anything, y'all? She has not read through the edits, but she says she'll read it that weekend. So Sheree was trying to be discreet with the call. She's kind of like, tells Bob, I'll be right back, walks away. He is stalking her, y'all. It's the funniest thing. He's like all up on her, walking behind her, trying to eavesdrop. I was like, what's wrong with Bob? He is good comic relief, y'all. So Sheree tells Bob that was her publisher, that she's writing a book, and that it's loosely based on people that she knows. It's a tell-all. Well, not loosely based, but she did say there were some facts in there, but then there is some embellishments, and that there is a character for him, too. So he says he's going to need an advance copy. I'm like, well, you know what, Sheree? Y'all were off to a good start. I don't know where this is going. I don't know if you are serious about rekindling anything with Bob, but I'm pretty sure that if you talk crazy about Bob in that book, it's going to be over again. So Bob's bringing the shade. He tells her that he's proud of Sheree for starting the process of writing the book, but that she started other processes in the past and hadn't finished it. So they flash back to She by Sheree. We get to see Dwight with him and Nene kikiing over who has a fashion show with no fashions. How dreadful. And I'll tell you what was dreadful. Dwight's hair. Like, what is going on with that? Wasn't he a hairdresser? Like, that doesn't make no sense. Funnily enough, Bob tells Sheree that the book's not done until it's done and on the shelf, and he's paid his $9 for the book. And Sheree says, well, that's insulting. Like, $9 is too low. But y'all, I just looked it up on Amazon. Why was it $9? Actually, it was $8.82. So I'll be very interested to see how this book turns out. I will not be buying it. So I hope one of you guys buy it and let me know how it is. All right, so here we go, y'all. Now we see Phaedra. And we hadn't seen Phaedra the whole episode. We're like half hour in. I'm thinking, wow, finally seeing Phaedra. I forgot about her. Anyway, she's at her law office talking to her assistant, and Johnny shows up. Kandi's ex-assistant Johnny shows up, and he's feeling some kind of way. He's in his feelings. He's decided he needs to seek legal counsel because he thinks he might want to sue Miss Kandi. And so Phaedra, of course, is just like, what? Getting all the gossip. And Johnny says that he feels like he was underpaid by Kandi, and he's hoping to either get back pay or future earnings. He tells us that he and Kandi have been planning to open a restaurant together, and then all of a sudden she opens one with Todd. Do y'all believe that? I think maybe there was a restaurant conversation going on, and Kandi was maybe looking at places and he was along as the assistant, but I just can't see Kandi opening up a restaurant with somebody. I don't know. Maybe she was. I mean, she did say she tries to help a lot of people out, but it just seems odd. It seems odd to me. So first, Johnny tells Phaedra that he was not compensated for his services. But then he produces some pay stubs showing he was compensated, but the pay stub says $500. So Phaedra says it's for a week or, what'd she say, 1 day or 2 days? And he says it's for a week. And I'm thinking, really? He says he worked 80 hours and he got $500 a week. Let's just quickly calculate how much money that is. So $500 divided by 80 hours a week is about $625. Now, I don't know how much minimum wage was at the time this was filmed, but that's a little lower than minimum wage. So maybe he was making minimum wage, and maybe that's an accurate amount, but I don't know what they agreed to, y'all. It sounds far-fetched to me, especially if she was using him as her wedding planner, and Phaedra said that he was the manager, the chauffeur, he did everything around there besides wash her animals. So it was just a strange thing. I'm just very curious to know how legitimate those pay stubs are. But at the end of the day, Phaedra says she's not petty, wop, and she's not going to take his case. Besides, she said it's not her expertise, and plus, Phaedra loses all her lawsuits, so he's probably better off anyway. So I'm interested to see if he's really going to go forward with this. I forgot to check that out, but I did read that, and Todd alluded to this last week, that he had to let his general contractor go from the restaurant. And I know the general contractor is definitely suing Kandi and Todd over this restaurant fiasco. Yeah, Johnny did sue Kandi. I looked it up. He did. He filed a lawsuit in October alleging that Kandi failed to pay him overtime pay that he asked 3 times and was denied. Of course, the lawsuit doesn't say how much his hourly rate was or how much he wants to collect from Kandi. Foolishness, y'all. This country is truly based on frivolous lawsuits. But anyway, that was a side note. That's so messed up, y'all. So messed up. Makes you not want to help people, you know. This dude worked for her for 4 years. And I was reading the little tweets, and Kandi said that wasn't the first time he got fired. He got fired before and came back for more. So if she was a terrible boss or didn't pay well or whatever it is, he didn't mind it. So he kept coming back. So shame on him. And Phaedra's saying she's not petty, so she won't take the case, but she referred him to somebody else. So that wasn't right. Okay, so that was the hugest diversion. Sorry, guys. So now we're on to Cynthia. Cynthia and Kenya are now in Charlotte, and they're getting ready for this event. They have about 1 hour to get ready. So they get a hotel room that it seems like it's a suite, and they both have their own bedroom. So Kenya goes into hers to get ready, and then we hear her phone going off, and it's Matt texting her. And according to Kenya, we did not see not one text, but apparently Matt is threatening her, saying he better not see her with anybody, and all this other stuff. She'll regret this, she'll regret that. So she gets worried. She gets Cynthia, and she's telling him about it. So what had happened was Peter asked Kenya if he could invite Matt. And she says she originally said yes, because Matt needs his friends. He needs to have his guy time. And I was thinking, really, Kenya? Because Peter just told Todd at the car dealership that he hadn't even seen Matt since Jamaica. So they aren't friends. But anyway, y'all, anyway. So that's what she tells Cynthia. So she said yes. But then she started thinking about it, and she decided that maybe it's not such a good idea because they're not supposed to be seeing each other and whatever. So she told Peter to cancel the ticket. So now she's thinking that Matt's driving to Charlotte, and she's worried about it. And so now Cynthia's worried about it, and now we're going to have to see what happens. I can't help but think that Kenya agreed to Matt coming because she needed a scene. She wanted a scene. It's good for her storyline and whatever. And I feel for Matt. I don't know what's going on with him. He could be genuinely crazy, but he keeps falling for the okie doke. Every time Kenya's sweet to him, he comes crawling back like he doesn't know she's crazy. So then Kenya gets on her phone and she shows Cynthia that Matt has posted a video on social media, and he's saying that he was on his way to Charlotte, but Kenya canceled his flight. So he's all mad about it. So I'm thinking she probably did. The game is the game. She probably did, because she said Peter did it, but he said he did it. And I'm thinking, how do you call the airport and cancel a flight that you didn't pay for? Because she said that Peter sprung for the ticket. How does that work? See, it's all smoke and mirrors, y'all. We don't really know what's going on. So Kenya goes on and on to the point where Cynthia asks her, does she feel safe going to the event? And Kenya says her gut's saying no, she shouldn't go. So Cynthia ends up going to the event by herself in Kenya's place to explain to Peter what happened with Kenya. Of course, Cynthia shows up looking snatched, and Peter sees her and just about falls out. He has to get a big old gulp of his drink, and he's just unable to cope. So he says hello to Cynthia. She says hello. She's very gracious, says hi to him and to Todd. And by the way, Club 1 looks great. It looks really nice. And she says hello to both of them, and so she makes a mention about how she wasn't invited to the event. So Peter tries to weasel out of it by saying, well, I didn't want to force anything. And so she says, you need to give me the option. You invite me, and then I get to choose whether or not I'm comfortable coming, or if I want to support you or not. And I agree. She's been saying she wants to be friends with him, but I hope that Cynthia is learning. Peter's childish, but she keeps trying. She keeps trying, and maybe by the end of this, they'll actually come to some sort of understanding where he will finally realize his games are not going to work. And maybe he really will be a friend of hers. But it probably will take some time. So like I said, Club 1 is popping. It looks like a nice little spot. lots going on. So anyway, so Cynthia and Peter sit down and chop it up a little bit, and she says that she saw Wendy Williams. What's going on with Wendy Williams? And he says that he needed to get his story out there. He just felt like it's her fault he had to go on Wendy Williams. And I'm just like, really, Peter? Really? Throwing blame? Why? Why? You went on Wendy Williams because you wanted the fee. You wanted to get paid, and you wanted to trash Cynthia. That's what it was. So then we see Kenya. She texts Cynthia, says she's outside because, of course, Kenya was going to come. She was not going to miss her scene, y'all. It's a setup, y'all. I'm convinced. Okay, so let me just get back to the script. What's happening here? Not the script, but what happened to the show. So Kenya texts Cynthia, says she's outside. So Peter goes outside to make sure nothing's going on with Matt or whatever. So then we see Matt show up. He's walking towards the car, and we hear Kenya say, "What are you doing here, Matt? What are you doing?" And she tells her driver, "This man walking up is dangerous." And then there's some sounds. We don't really know what's going on. We hear Kenya saying, "Stop, stop." We hear, well, I didn't even we heard a noise. The screen wrote smack on it, and then the driver says, "He hit me." So supposedly Matt punched the driver in the face, and then he leaves. This whole thing is so weird, right? Matt had said he was just walking up because he wanted to talk to Kenya. Well, anyway, so after he leaves, Peter shows up, and Kenya tells him what happened, that Matt is unstable, that he doesn't, he's crazy, whatever. And so Peter goes back inside, and he tells Todd what happened. So they call Matt on the cell phone to find out what happened. Matt says he walked up to the window to talk to Kenya, and I guess he must have leaned in because the driver ends up winding the window up on his neck. And so he punched the driver. So he did admit to punching the driver, but he says it because he had his neck in the window, whatever. So Peter is telling him to walk away from the situation. Everybody knows Kenya's crazy. And this poor guy is like mixed up in the madness, and he doesn't know how to free himself. So Peter's adamant, just walk away. And he says, tell Kenya to leave me alone because she keeps on luring him back in. She's nice, he comes back. When he comes back, she says, shoo, go away. So she's giving him mixed signals, and it's confusing him and frustrating him. So at the end of the day, Peter and Todd both are like, just walk away. Leave it alone. So then we see Kenya crying in her confessional about poor Matt, and he has so much potential, and I guess she'll have to let it go. It's just crazy to me. The guy, you are saying he's unstable, and he's crazy, and he's young, and he's immature, and it's been a challenge. Are you desperate, Kenya? Maybe Noel needs to ask you, are you insecure? Because what are you doing? I mean, you are a beauty queen, you're an actress, and let's not forget she's an actress, y'all. That's why I don't even believe any of this madness. She's an actress, she's had a career for all these years. I mean, she, I'm sure, meets many men that she could replace Matt in a minute. So obviously she's using him for a storyline. I just don't even believe it. And I feel bad for Matt because he probably does have anger issues like Portia, and he needs to get a handle on that. But I mean, she's using that to his advantage. I think that Matt needs to look up Walter, find out how he escaped her clutches, and take a lesson. Because we don't even hear from Walter anymore. He fled the scene. He's not mixed up in this drama anymore. And can you try to use him too? Matt needs some help. Maybe they need to have an intervention. So then we have Peter and Cynthia talking again. And they're, Cynthia's telling Peter how nice the club was. And she wants to give him his props and everything. So, of course, Peter, he had to take a shot, right? He tells her, oh, my house is 3 minutes away. So she goes, okay, that's a little awkward. And he goes, okay, bye. That was the weirdest exchange, man. I was just like, okay, Cynthia, she keeps her cool all the time. But I guess Peter had to take a shot. He said she was looking like an ice cream cone in that dress, right? She was doing it for him. But, and he also had told her during the night, you're still Mrs. Thomas, whatever. Yeah. So, anyway, y'all, that was what the episode was for this week. And it was a lot, wasn't it? It was a lot that went on in this episode. So, I know this is a very long vlog or review, but there was a lot that went on. So next week looks interesting. We have Matt coming back, busting the windows out of Kenya's garage and car window again. Y'all, he needs help, y'all. We need to pray for Matt. So anyway, a bunch of stuff. So I'll be back here next week. I can't say same time, same place. But for sure, I'll be back next week to do another review. I hope you enjoyed this review. Be sure to give it a thumbs up and leave me some comments below, y'all. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't forget about this review. This channel or future reviews, whatever. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.